Hey, General Hospital fans. So, let's talk about something that has been absolutely buzzing across soap social media for months now, and honestly, it is a conversation that is way overdue. We are talking about Willow Tate and Drew Kane. And yes, before you say anything, I know Drew is with somebody else right now, but stick with me here because General Hospital has been quietly, very deliberately planting seeds between these two for a while now, and the fan base is starting to catch on in a major way. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and today we are diving deep into why Willow and Drew might actually be the super couple that General Hospital has been building toward all along, even while the show keeps dangling other options in front of both of them. But first, please click subscribe if you are not already following us, because you do not want to miss a single episode. So let's just start from the beginning, because context matters a lot here. For a long time, Willow was defined almost entirely by her relationships with other people. Her whole storyline centered around her kids, her illness, her connection to Nina, her marriage to Michael. And Michael and Willow, look, they had their fans. Milo was a thing. But the writers kept throwing obstacles at them. Nina drama, Nellie drama, Michael's Corinthos family chaos. And after a while, it started to feel less like a couple being tested and more like the show just could not figure out what to do with them long term. And then there was the leukemia storyline, which was heartbreaking and beautifully acted, but it also kind of put Willow in a position where she was more patient than protagonist for a really long time. So when she came out the other side of that, and the show finally started giving her some agency, some fire, some actual story beyond her medical chart, fans noticed. And one of the first people she started genuinely sparking with in a new way was Drew. Now, Drew Kane has always been a fascinating character because of the layers. The memory stuff, the twin situation, the Jason shadow that has followed him around forever. He has been paired with a lot of people over the years. Sam, of course, was his great love for a long time. And then there was his relationship with Scout, and how that shaped him as a father. And lately, obviously, he has been involved with someone else. But here is the thing. General Hospital has been consistently, almost methodically, engineering moments between Willow and Drew that go beyond just friendly coworker energy. These are loaded scenes. There is eye contact that lingers a beat too long. There are conversations where they're clearly saying one thing and meaning another. The writers are not doing that by accident. They never do. And fans have absolutely picked up on it. From what we are hearing, chemistry tests between Chloe Lanier, well, obviously Willow is not played by Chloe anymore, but the current dynamic and the Drew side of things have been generating some really strong audience feedback. People are responding. The fan pages are lit up. The GH writers' room monitors that stuff closely, they always have, and when a pairing gets traction organically, the show tends to lean into it. We saw that happen with other couples over the years. Sometimes the show plans a pairing and it fizzles. Other times, two people get put in a room together and lightning just strikes, and the show has to chase that energy. From everything we are seeing and hearing, Willow and Drew, let's call them Drewlo, which honestly I think sounds kind of great, maybe exactly that kind of lighting in a bottle situation. And let's talk about why this pairing actually makes sense beyond just chemistry, because chemistry is great, but a super couple needs more than that. A super couple needs narrative logic. They need shared history and shared wounds and complementary energy. And Willow and Drew actually have a lot of that going for them when you really break it down. First of all, both of these characters have spent huge chunks of their lives not really knowing who they are. Willow literally did not know her own parentage for years. She grew up in a cult. She was kept from her real family. She had to reconstruct her entire identity as an adult. And Drew, well, we know what Drew went through with the memory mapping, with being confused for his twin, with not knowing for years which of his memories were even real. These are two people who have had to fight incredibly hard just to have a solid sense of self. That is a profound thing to have in common. And when you put two people like that together, people who understand that kind of existential disorientation from the inside, you get a depth of connection that is hard to manufacture. You cannot fake that kind of emotional resonance. Second, both Willow and Drew are genuinely good people trying to do right in a world, Port Charles specifically, that keeps pulling them toward chaos. Now, neither of them is a saint. Willow made some choices during the whole Michael and Nina situation that were questionable, and she knows it. She has had to reckon with her own capacity for bitterness and hardness, which actually made her a far more interesting character. And Drew has his own shadow side. That whole SEC insider trading mess with Michael was not a good look, and he paid for it. He has had to examine what he is actually willing to do when he feels backed into a corner. So they're not perfect, but they are both fundamentally oriented toward doing the right thing, and they both have blind spots they are actively working on. That is a couple you can root for, because they are real. They feel human in a way that some soap couples just do not. Third, and this is something I think gets slept on a lot in these conversations, they would be incredible as co-parents and as a blended family unit. Willow is already such a nurturing, devoted mother. And Drew is one of the best dads in Port Charles, full stop. The way he has shown up for Scout, the consistency, the way he handles the complicated co-parenting dynamics, that is a man who takes fatherhood seriously. And Willow's kids would have an incredible father figure in Drew. Just from a pure family-building standpoint, this pairing makes a lot of sense, and it gives the writers a ton of material to work with that is not just about the romance. It is about the kids, the exes, the logistics of building something real. That is rich storytelling territory. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, which is obviously whatever is currently happening with Drew's existing situation. Without getting too spoilery for people who are not caught up, let's just say that relationship has some cracks in it. There are trust issues. There have been some moments recently where it feels like the show is deliberately undermining that foundation, laying the groundwork for a transition. And look, that is standard soap operating procedure. You do not just flip a switch and move someone from one pairing to another without building a case for why the current relationship is not working. GH is clearly building that case right now. We are watching it happen in real time. Whether it ends with an explosion or a slow fade, something is shifting. And on Willow's end, she has been in this interesting in-between space. She is not pining for Michael in any active way, but she is also not exactly settled or at peace. There is a restlessness to her character lately that the actress is playing really beautifully. She is clearly someone who is still figuring out what she wants her life to look like now that she is healthy, now that she knows who she is, now that the survival crisis is behind her. That kind of character, someone standing at a crossroads, is exactly the right person to be falling into something unexpected and real with someone equally at a crossroads. That is romantic storytelling gold. There is also a practical element to this that I want to point out, which is that General Hospital needs a tentpole couple. They need a duo that people will tune in for week after week, that generates water-cooler conversation, that brings the kind of sustained energy that classic soap supercouples used to deliver. And the pickings have been somewhat slim lately in terms of finding that next-generational couple. Willow and Drew have the goods. They have the actors who can carry that weight, they have the character histories that make for genuinely compelling drama, and they have that spark, that je ne sais quoi that you simply cannot write into existence if it is not actually there. But it is there. You can see it. We also have to talk about the leaks, because there have been some rumblings from pretty reliable sources that something significant is coming for Willow in the back half of the year. Nothing totally concrete that I can sit here and say definitively, but the language being used is suggestive of a major romantic storyline, a kind of reawakening for her character. And separately, there are whispers about Drew's current situation coming to a head in a way that frees him up considerably. Now, I am not going to sit here and promise you that these two storylines are going to intersect in the way we think they might. Soap opera spoilers are never that clean. But the timing of these two threads potentially converging is very interesting. It would be very interesting storytelling if both Drew and Willow found themselves suddenly available, suddenly raw and open and searching, at approximately the same moment. That is not a coincidence when soaps do it. That is intention. And honestly, fans are ready. The fan accounts for this potential pairing have been growing steadily. People are making edits, writing fan fiction, flooding the GH social media comments, asking for more Willow and Drew scenes. The show's social team has to be seeing that. And when GH has leaned into fan enthusiasm in the past, really listened to what the audience was responding to, it has paid off. The fans are not wrong about this one. There is something here. It just needs room to grow. So here is where we land. Willow Tate and Drew Kane have chemistry. They have narrative logic. They have emotional depth. They have shared wounds, and they have a growing, vocal, passionate fan community rallying behind them. The show is clearly still investing in building their individual story foundations in a way that seems to be leading somewhere together. Yes, there are obstacles right now. Yes, other people are in the picture. That is soap opera. That is the game. But all the ingredients are there for something really special, and if General Hospital plays this right, Willow and Drew could be the couple this show has been quietly, patiently building toward for years. Rick, or whoever else is standing in the way, might want to watch their back. Because when General Hospital finds their next super couple, they commit. And something tells me the Drew Lowe era might be coming sooner than anyone expects. Thank you so much for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts, because you absolutely do not want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.
See you next time.